I will come back into this in detail
No.
for one scenario. For one scenario, that is 1.5. That is the best. If we
Okay.
can do something to reduce temperature in future, 1.5 is the best. Therefore, we will come back into that one. In the first
Okay.
row of maps, it shows annual hottest day temperature change. Annual hottest day temperature change. You
Okay.
can see that temperature increases. The earth coming red and red, more and more red. That means more
Hi.
and more heat. Then the B,
Hi. And I'm back.
uh, please mute the mics. Column A, row B, annual mean total column soil moisture change. Soil moisture change. The rainfall, there is variation in the rainfall, there is variation in the temperature. So, more important factor about the agriculture and all is soil moisture change. So here you can see that the soil moisture change also changes with the increase of increase of temperature. The best option we will go in detail. Best option, that is 1.5. Annual wettest day precipitation change. That is the amount of rainfall. Again, rainfall amount, as you can see, blue, green and green, more and more green. That means rainfall increases. However, we look at it in detail. Only 1.5. In the next slides, we will see only 1.5 in detail. We go into that one. All the other we neglect. However, these all are possible. 1.5 possible, 2 possible, and 3 and 4. It depends upon how the people in the earth will act in future. Particularly the young people, how react on these changes taken place. For this purpose, we need to know what we can do and who are responsible. First, let us understand who are responsible for this increased greenhouse gases. Next, please. Next slide, please. Yes, today too much. Ah, yes. Now, not that one. One before that. Yes. Cumulative carbon dioxide emissions 1750 to 2020. 1750. Why this 1750? As we know, 1750 is the start of industrial revolution and fossil fuel burning. From that point, 1750, when the industrial revolution started, from that point, we are contributing to the enhancing the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, enhance the greenhouse and enhance greenhouse effect. So, who are responsible for this one? 1750 to today. Who is the most responsible? As you can see here in this graph, blue, blue color, blue color. United States of America, 24.6%, almost one fourth of the all the greenhouse carbon dioxide, one fourth of the all carbon dioxide emitted to the atmosphere during all the period of industrial revolution to today, one fourth is from United States of America. The next, the next No, no, sorry, the slide same slide again. The after USA, the second is rest of Europe, 14.4. Rest of Europe, that means United Kingdom, France, Germany, and the other countries like Italy, Spain, and North European countries all together. Rest of Europe is 14.5. Oh, yes, here, sorry, rest of Europe exclude Germany and UK. They are provided separately. Germany 5.5, UK 4.6. Rest of Europe 14.4. Next, China alone 13.9. China 13.9. Then rest of Asia, excluding India and Japan, all the other rest of Asia and Middle East together, 10.5% altogether. Likewise, Canada 2 point, Africa altogether 2.8, all Africa 2.8, Russia 6.8. So now you can see who are responsible, which countries are responsible. If you take to the countries, so okay. Now next slide, please. Yeah, here you can see that all green, dark green, they are developed countries. In the right graph, dark green has larger contribution. Again, the largest contribution that is at the present. Oh, historically, okay. Here we see during historically, that means all the period existence of greenhouse gases, European Union and United States, the second, United States, European Union, the largest, United States, then Russia, likewise. The major important thing here that you can see in the next one, right side, as you can see, the yellow part is higher. That means it is shifted now. Now, developing countries led by China, developing countries are contributing more. So it was earlier developed countries contributed. Now developing countries are contributing. Largest contributor at present is China. Right. Next, please. Yes, amounts. Historical cumulative emissions, the same amount. United States, 28%. Historical cumulative emissions means during all the period from 1750 to today, altogether, emissions altogether, that is emissions altogether, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide altogether. United States, 28%. China, 9%. Russia, 8%. Germany 6.9, UK 5.8, Japan 3.87, likewise France, India, Canada and Ukraine. These are the top 10 contributors to the greenhouse gases historically. Next, please. Carbon dioxide contribution amount, million, MT means million tons. Carbon dioxide, that is present one. Present, who is leading today? China, 28, US 16, India 5.8, Russia 5.4, Japan 3.7, likewise. Now now China is leading 28%. Next, please. That was carbon dioxide. The greenhouse gas contributions, again China, US, Brazil, likewise. Uh, Per capita, there was some per capita. I can't find it. No. Back, please. Slide back, please. Per capita. No. Back. Back. Yes. Yes. Here. Emissions per capita. Per head. Who is leading? Qatar. One person a year uses 36.9 tons of carbon dioxide. By whom? Residents of Qatar. So the largest contributor, per head contributor from Qatar. Qatar in the country where one person uses largest amount of carbon dioxide altogether greenhouse gases. The second, United States. Again, United States. The third, Australia. Fourth, Russia. Germany, UK, China has gone down because China per capita is lower than many other countries. High population, therefore per head contribution is lower. World average is 4.5. India, India, it was in the higher level of carbon dioxide all, but here per capita 1.4. It is in the seventh, eighth, eighth place in the. So it has been gone down. Africa average 0.9. Very few amount is responsible. Africa is very low responsible for emission of greenhouse gases. Less responsible for global heating. Less responsible for climate change. Ethiopia is the lowest contributor to climate change. Now we can understand whom to blame, who have to take actions. If we do something, where we need to force our efforts. Next, please. Yes, next. Next. Yes, right. Implemented policies result in projected emissions that lead to warming of 3.2 centigrade with a range of 2.2 to 3.3. In this graph, in the uh, axis shown again gigatons of carbon dioxide equivalent emissions here. Gigatons, not the tons, not the megatons, but gigatons. Thousand of megatons is gigaton. So carbon dioxide, gigatons of carbon dioxide equivalent emissions, carbon dioxide equivalent emissions. That means carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, all together, that methane and carbon dioxide converted into carbon dioxide according to their strength of as a greenhouse gas. Strength as a greenhouse gas. Now what is happened? Look at the year. From 2000 to 2100. In future, what will happen? Net global greenhouse gas emissions, how it has been increasing, how it will be in future. That is the future. Dark line at the beginning, black line at the beginning, that is the amount observed from 2000 to date. This is what we have observed from 2000 to date. And the next line, there are several lines, several possibilities, mainly three possibilities here shown. Of course, there is another possibility. And red line, beta one is blue line. So what happens if we do the same way what we are doing now? What we are doing now, we are doing, all the nations have nationally determined contributions, NDC. IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, asks all member countries, all the countries in the world are members of them. And the Intergovernmental Panel asks all nations to determine their national contribution to these greenhouse gases and what measures they can take for remedies to reduce, to mitigate climate change. So this is nationally determined contributions. This is the actions taken by global community to mitigate climate change. So what will happen with this nationally determined contributions? National determined contribution and all other measures. It goes like this red line. Implemented policies. This is the result. If we will be satisfied with what is happening with this all measures taken to mitigate climate change, this red line goes there. Red line, it is very high, 3.2 centigrade increase, 3.2, right? It is very dangerous, as we can be show in the general maps. It is very dangerous. What we have to do, what it is better to do from today, I mean from this years, to go into this one, limit warming to 1.5 centigrade. So we need to limit it. In that limit, there is another line called net zero. Net zero. Net zero carbon dioxide is the best. Net zero. We can't do it up here because we are here. We have to reduce, come into the net zero level. At least 2080 or later, we will reach net zero level if we start today limiting warming to 1.5 degrees. Limiting, right? Net zero means that we are not contributing the atmosphere more. Carbon dioxide, methane, nitrogen dioxide are not contributing the atmosphere. Net zero, it is the best. So anyway, we have to reduce these things. Otherwise, Earth will not last. The life in the Earth will not be last in the future. Okay, let us go into the different, the maps. Next slide, please. Interactions. So anyone who want to express any ideas anytime, you can unmute the mic and talk. Where is the signing sheet? Oh, not about the signing sheet. Any other question to me? Raised hand, four. Four raised hand. We look at that who has raised hands. Huh? Yes, Joyce and Leah, tell us. You want something to ask or tell? Anyone? Unmute the mic and speak. You commented that at the first lecture, of course, you commented that more time you need for interaction. So it is time for you. I think today maybe these changes in the technology messed up this thinking. Any questions? Any questions? Any communications? Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. We can.
Yes, I wanted you to discuss the issue of carbon credits and African countries selling their carbon credits. Could you enlighten us on that?
Well, yes, carbon credits that is a measure that our intergovernmental panel on climate change agreed upon, started with the Kyoto Protocol signing of the Kyoto Protocol 1997, and this carbon trading, which means that you can buy carbon. That means the countries, those who are contributing to more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, they have to pay this one. And also the other countries can take this money, those who are contributing less than that. And this money usually go to planting trees like that. So this kind of trade agreement, we can talk about how this mechanism works. Maybe this lecture course not sufficient to go into the details because funding sources, how the these funds, how the countries can get this money that of from the climate green climate fund, and there are some other sources also. It is a little, we need to go deeper into that question later. Maybe just after this course, we can start something, another course to go into that detail about the fundings. Yes, anyone else? Okay. The world at 1.5 centigrade above present 1.5. As I saw in the last graph, 1.5 is the best option in the future. With the best option, if we reduce the use of carbon dioxide, still anyway there is a heating. In this map, annual hottest day temperature change is shown here. uh, Higher the this color, uh, hotter the area. That is a change of the temperature. Temperature increase. According to this map, highest temperature increase you can see northern Africa, including Sahara region and Middle East. Then the Siberia, the north of Siberia, and Brazil and Argentina, Canada, likewise, and the South Africa. So these are the areas where temperature, high amount of temperature increases, maybe around 5 centigrade in future. 5 centigrade, very dangerous. It is 1.5 is the best option. Okay, next. The world at 5.5 above present. Again, the same best option, and here it shows annual mean total uh, column soil moisture change. Soil moisture change. That's many, as you can see here, green patches where the soil moisture increases in Congo Basin and Mongolia, in some areas in Russia, amount of soil moisture increases, and larger part of South Europe, including Spain, Italy, and Iran, Iraq, and the North Africa, soil moisture is reduced. Most part of Amazon, South Africa, 1.5 centigrade above present. Here it shows the annual wettest day precipitation change, amount of rainfall, increased rainfall in Africa and also in the Pacific Ocean and also in the northern areas, increase of rainfall. Let us go next slide, please. Next, please. Right. Here you see various paths, various paths that we need to follow one, and there are various options. Is following the paths. Present world here in the black line, present world, and 2030, 200 to 2100. 2100. So there are, in the start point, we have three options. We have to decide where we go. Warming limited to below 1.5. That is the way we have to go. Here we had a chance. Here we had a chance. Past controls, emissions, climate change, development have increased warming and development gaps persist. With the development at the past, there was high increase of temperature, and we are in this point. Now we have three way. One is opportunities missed. Yes, if we started at the earlier, we can go in that line. We could go in that line if we started. However, we didn't go in that line. There we have lost the opportunity. Now we have next one. In that we have 1.5 degrees centigrade increase. Right? In 2030, we are expecting sustainable development goals achievement. It's also doubtful. However, if we go in this line, limited to below 1.5, it would be better because it's green, as you can see, green, better conditions. However, in the other lines, what we are moving here, prospects for climate resilient development will be further limited if global warming exceeds 1.5 centigrade and if progress towards the SDGs is inadequate. So, if we do not adhere to the SDGs and temperature increases above 1.5, no chance in future goes up. Right. Next, please. So, conditions that constrain individual and collective action. Why this is happening? We have SDG, we have had the Kyoto Protocol, and now we have Paris Agreement. However, it is not happening. Why? These are the causes: the poverty, inequity, and injustice in the world. In the world, still we are not having agreement. All the world community need to come together and have an agreement that we need to stop poverty, inequity, and injustice if the earth to be sustained for future. There are also economic, institutional, and social and capacity barriers. Yeah, in some regions in the world, though they are economically very high positions, they are not contributing to this one, and they are the contributor to the greenhouse gases. And also there are institutional barriers. Though, as I asked, some participant asked about the grants are provided. So there are some institutional barriers. These grants do not reach the required appropriate people or the organizations. And social and capacity barriers. Some countries and some people in some cultures, they are not much interested about the climate change, and they are not capable of talking about these things. So our role is there to make aware them about this. Silent responses, like response, silence response. That means no response. That means not acting. Keep silence. It is also a big issue. That is why we are contributing. Keeping silence is still the earth is heating. Don't keep silence, otherwise earth will heat up. Lack of finance, another problem. I don't think there is a need to explain. And barriers to finance. There are some institutions. If you type wherever where the climate change funds you can get, maybe these websites are closed. So there are some issues like that. Barriers to finance and technology. Yes, there are a lot of technology suggested for adaptation to climate change in agriculture, like drip irrigation, sprinkler irrigation, marvelous. It uses very small amount of water very effectively. But do you have money to implement these things? The problem. Technology, no technology. And also we talk about solar power and all. However, still we are using because of this. It is solar power. Still, it is very expensive. Trade off with SDGs. All the countries have signed, agreed upon SDG, but not all the countries are following this SDG. Still, some countries need to keep other poor countries poor forever. That is the thing. Okay, next please. Conditions that enable individual and collective actions. So what we can do here, inclusive governance, inclusive governance. If we are responsible person for climate change, inclusive government, we need to include all the people, poor people, rural people, women, children, all, and elderly, all together, inclusive governance, all together should take decisions, inclusive governance. Diverse knowledges and values, diverse knowledges, because today we are talking about climate science. It is scientific knowledge, but diverse knowledge in various nations, various cultures, they have very important and different knowledge that is may not be scientific. Yes, of course, there are a lot of knowledge that not cannot be categorized as scientific. However, this knowledge is very important, very valuable for and make adaptations to climate change and also the mitigation. Some cultures, their livelihood, their lifestyle are sustainable. Some people's lifestyles are uh, very have very limited contribution to greenhouse gases. So we have to value them. We have to value the people's cultures, their less carbon dioxide footprint. So these are the things we have to make change into the keep the world not becoming hot. Finance and innovation. Innovation and innovation. Yes, the finance and innovation. We can introduce a lot of things innovative to change this situation in climate change. Integration across sectors. Yes, it's also a big issue. Various ministries, various administrative sections act separately. Forest, forestry is separated from wildlife in many countries. However, this integration is very essential. Institutional integration is very essential because climate change is leading this change, but there are other changes in the world. altogether. People suffer from not only from climate change altogether. Therefore, we need solutions, integrated solutions. Climate change should not be separated into adaptation and mitigation. It should come both together, integrated. We need to introduce some systems, some the maybe in the agriculture, maybe some systems that meet both targets, adaptation and mitigation. In dry areas, if we are going to have less water, we have to change the crop patterns by improving the green cover, increasing the uh, forest cover, and get more income from with less water. Likewise, we have to combine both mitigation and adaptation. Integration is essential for this future Earth's existence. Ecosystem stewardship. Yes, we shouldn't think that everything in the world is for the humans. In this present sustainable development definition, of course, it focuses on the people today and people in the future, next generations, future generation. It is understood that future generation is people, not all the other animals and plants. So we need to change our thinking pattern into ecosystem stewardship, that we need to protect the environment, not only using for our benefit. This all the nature is considered now for our benefit. These all things are in the world exist for our benefit. This worldview has destroyed our world. So now we have to change this thinking into ecosystem stewardship. Synergies between climate and development actions. Climate change should not be separated from other things. Everywhere, climate change. Change should be mainstream. Climate change should be mainstream. That means in education, in health, in everywhere, forestry, everywhere, climate change should be in a mainstream, and it should have the synergy between climate change and development other actions. All other actions should together considered together. Zoom link is not working again. Maybe some people are not hearing, not getting this information. The last one is behavioral change supported by policy, infrastructure, and socio-cultural factors. Behavioral change. At present, we are changing. People getting more and more westernized. Westernized means the lifestyle of the West we are taking. Yeah, it is good. It is called civilized. However, we increase our carbon footprint. So in the many other cultures, there are some many other cultures, their carbon footprint is very low, very low. If we have to follow this kind of behaviors, reducing carbon footprint. Try leaving the meeting and rejoin again. Okay, someone it uh, let us have an example. How much of water footprint you have having one bath, having one day one bath? How much of water footprint? Water footprint means again water we use from the shower. It uses energy. If energy uses energy means it is carbon dioxide, methane, nitrogen, the greenhouse gases. So having a shower, we are contributing to the greenhouse gases. So how much it is? So some amount of carbon dioxide is using when you are having a shower. However, consider in some cultures, people go to the reservoir, water reservoir, pond, have a bath. So how much of water footprint there? How much of carbon footprint there? Zero. Zero carbon. So if you have a shower, you have a high amount of carbon dioxide. If you go to a swim in nature, so you have zero carbon footprint. Likewise, some cultures have very low carbon footprint. So behavioral changes are required, supported by policy, not just asking people to do so. Not just asking to people to do so. It should be a policy of the governments. Should think government have taken decisions to reduce carbon footprint. Then the infrastructure also should be the same way. Infrastructure. Now we have the systems where lot of water we are using in houses. We have constructed from the Western sciences introduce us the system that we uses lot water. With innovation, we can find out infrastructure that uses less carbon footprint. So we should go into that one. And culture, socio-cultural factors. In many cultures, we can learn and adapt those systems by the others. So it is an interaction between governments should act on that one, private should act that one, and also civil society, their lifestyle should change into the lower carbon footprint. Unless we implement this thing, the Earth's sustainability will be a question due to climate change. Next, please. Yes, this is the better situation. Warming limited to below 1.5. That is the better situation. In this situation is result of low emissions. As already we discussed, we talk about we need to reduce the emissions. Then also system transitions. Our systems should transmit our energy production based on carbon dioxide. Energy production, present energy production contributes to greenhouse gases. Present energy production increases air temperature in the future. So therefore, present energy production system should be changed into solar power like that. Not these energy systems, renewable energy systems, solar power, and like that, which do not contribute to the greenhouse gases. Transformations, we need transformation. We need to have a culture where can people come together and the from other cultures, we can take the low carbon footprint lifestyles and transform our society, transform our systems. Otherwise, then the low climate risk will happen. If we do these things, low climate risk will happen. Equity and justice, another important thing. Equity and justice. At present, the world do not have equity and justice. So if the people of the world community think about the survival of this earth beyond 2100, we should agree on the equity and justice. The global community should agree on that one. And also we need to achieve sustainable development goals. Agreed, as we agreed upon that. That will result at least the best option with the increase of temperature 1.5. Next, please. Global warming exceeds 1.5 degrees and inadequate SDG achievement exceeds 1.5 if following situation exists in the earth. High emissions, high emissions, like at present, is not trying to reduce these high emissions for the energy, for industry, for transportation, these high emissions to be reduced. Entrenched systems, yeah, the systems are hard to change. Many governments and the countries, they don't want to change their systems. Some countries need to keep some other countries as those who are providing raw material. The countries should supply raw material, no development for them. This kind of systems. Adaptation limits. Yes, adaptations. That, as I told already, as an adaptation to agriculture, we need to introduce new technologies like sprinkler irrigation, drip irrigation, like that. So there is no resource for them there for limitation. We hope that all of you who participate will participate until the end of this. This maladaptation, uh, not properly introduced. The systems are there, but not properly uh, implemented there. For agriculture, there are a lot of technologies that can properly face climate change adaptation, but they are not is not suitable for the countries, developing countries. Increase climate change, reduce options. It will about it will reduce the options for development. And also ecosystem degradation is a result. If we are not going to achieve SDGs and if the warming exceeds 1.5. Okay, next slide, please. Percentage of animal species and seagrasses. Risk of species loss. So in future, with the 1.5, with the 1.5 increase, animal species and seagrasses reduce percentage. Below the key shows reductions, and almost tropical belt going to have lost their animals. Very high percentages. Very high percentages they are going to lose in tropical countries. Middle America, Africa, middle of Africa, Congo basin, and Asian countries going to lose their animal species and tea grasses. Next, please. Heat, humidity risks of human health, mortality of people, morbidity. If the air temperature increases by 1.7 to 2.3, this happens. What happens? Deaths. The days with risk of human death. Number of days. Color shows the number of days. White color means there is no. Then the 1 to 10. Lightest color 1 to 10. Darkest in Asia. The so Asia Pacific region. Highest number of days at risk of life at risk due to heat and humidity. High humidity is not suitable for people. High heat is not suitable for people. Both together, as a result of climate change, Asia Pacific region is Asian have the highest risk of health. And again, tropical area, including, of course, United States, Brazil, Argentina, African countries, Middle East, and the Asia, China, Japan, all these tropical belt having a high risk of heat, humidity for humans. Next, please. Food product, maize yield Again, maize yield reduction shows a reduction. Increase, very few increase in somewhere in Andes, South America, and almost all the other areas yield reduces. Here we have shown the examples of maize yield, but of many of the cereals as well as the other agricultural crops, their potential yield reduces. Though the increased carbon dioxide is suitable for carbon dioxide absorbed by the plants and produce sugar, I mean the glucose. So it should be better. Yes, more carbon dioxide better for plants. However, it is proved that most of the agricultural crops do not have this advantage. Only one, only one, that is soya, is having higher yield with the increased carbon dioxide. All the other crops, there is no advantage of increasing carbon dioxide. Next, please. Next slide, please. Fisheries yield green increase and violet reduces. Again, North Sea, as a result of heating, melting of ice in the North Sea, Northern Ocean, fisheries will increase at that area. And in the tropical belt, including areas of UK, Spain, and these seas in the Atlantic Ocean, North Atlantic, Northwest Atlantic, reduces fish yield. Tropical area, Pacific Ocean, mid of the Pacific Ocean, reduces yield of fish. So next, please. Next slide, please. Yes. Attribution of observed physical climate change to human influence. How the human influence makes the changes. The first one, medium confidence, is about increase in agricultural and ecological drought. Agricultural drought and ecological drought increases. Medium confidence means that all the research findings in the world have not highest confidence about the increase in agricultural and ecological drought. However, we need to know that agricultural and ecological drought will increase in the future. Increase in fire weather, that means dry, hot weather increases. Forest fires increases. Increase in compound flooding, floods, compound flooding, floods because of the increased rainfall intensity, floods increases, and likely increase in heavy precipitation. Yeah, heavy precipitation events increases. Very likely glacier retreat, melting of ice, and the glaciers in mountains, melting glacier retreat. Global sea level rise, very likely, and virtually certain upper ocean acidification, pH of ocean water reduces due to carbon dioxide. Increased carbon dioxide in the atmosphere absorbed by the ocean, and concentration of carbon dioxide makes ocean water acidic. So ocean water acidity increases, very certain. As a result of increased acidity in the ocean, coral reefs will be affected because high acidity in water reduces the possibility of creating coral reefs and coral uh, the corals themselves cannot live in that high acidic waters. And virtually certain increase in hot extremes in Europe, in Russia, and in North America, in India, there were a lot of deaths due to increased extremes in the hot period. So this is the attribution of observed physical climate change to human influence. Next, please.
अरे रन सीटे मैं देन पूरा रेस्पॉन्स ऑफ करा आई डाउन हाँ 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 मैं पेन में ना होता भाई मतलब वो मैं जनता है पेन ना मैं रेस्पॉन्स ऑफ कर पूरा पेन में ना
Next slide, please. Observed impact, losses, and damages in four sectors: water availability and food production. What happens? Physical water availability reduces. Agriculture crop production reduces. Animal and livestock health and productivity reduces. Fisheries yields and aquaculture production changes in the regions. Health and well-being of humans. Infectious diseases increases. Among people, infected diseases increases. Heat, malnutrition, and harm from wildlife increases. Wildlife conflict increases. Malnutrition due to no food in some countries, and heat itself deadly. And mental health problems also arises. Also displacement, because in some places it is not possible to live. So in some places due to high temperature, in some places nothing to for on the there is no base to live, no base for living. Likewise, health and well-being problems. Cities, settlements, and infrastructure, inland flooding and associated damages to cities. Recent example is in the Middle East, high flooding in the cities, damages. Then the flood storm induced damages in coastal areas. In the river systems, coastal areas, floods and storms increases. Damage to infrastructure, sometimes bridges and all, damages increases. Damage to key economic sectors, tourism, agriculture, likewise. Biodiversity and ecosystem, terrestrial ecosystems, reduction of biodiversity, dying off, and the extinction of some species due to inability to survive new changed climate. Freshwater ecosystems increase temperature and increased temperatures particularly. Ocean ecosystem, because of the increased acidity, and in some areas increased salinity effect on the ocean ecosystem, in addition to increased water temperature in the oceans. And also changes ecosystem structure, species ranges, and seasonal timing. Species ranges. Many species living in tropical areas shift to little north and south, or shifting ranges of species, north and south, and also in the mountain areas to upper areas, from lower areas, from those those things grown in the lower areas goes up as a result of climate change. And those things grown in the tropical areas goes into the adjoining subtropical areas. Next, please. Effects on human generations. Yes. Who born when? If you born in, I think most of you born in 1980s. So look at this graph, how you will be affected. Now I am here somewhere in 1950s and like that. So at the end, in my large, the highest, oldest age, I am going to suffer from climate change, like now. But if you were born in 1980s, your your young age, you are going to start suffering. And if you born after 2020, from the childhood, you are suffering. Okay, regarding lifestyles, next slide, please. Cascading effects. Most frequent and more intense extreme heat and drought. Heat and drought. How this affects cascading. Food yield, and as we have already discussed, food yield and quality losses. Sorry, yes, back place. No, next. Yes, food price increase result reduce food security. It results increase malnutrition, particularly maternal malnutrition and child undernutrition. It results decrease quality of life. It results reduce labor capacity. It reduces household income. Household income results food yield and quality losses, and reduce soil moisture, and health reduces food yield. So food yield reduces by reduce soil moisture and health, and reduce household income. All these goes round. So cascade is called cascading effects. Next, please. Yes, of course. With these disturbances, I thought of having a very pleasure lecture today, discussions and all. However, we had to rush with the material, so therefore, maybe not convenient. It was not convenient for some people. Anyway, we discussed about anthropogenic causes of future climate change, that is producing carbon dioxide, methane, and other exhaust, nitrous oxide. That is industries, energy, transport, like that. Countries responsible for GHG emissions. We now know what are the countries. Future climate projections with stringent actions. What will happen in future? Increased temperature and their effects. Choices, potentials, and constraints. We talk about what we have to do what are the choices we have. At the last, we talk about the projected climate risk and impact. Okay, next, please. Yes. Now it is time for question and answers. Question and answers. No questions? Any more there?
Hello,
Raise hands. Oh, yes.
can you hear me?
Yes, with many difficulties, but you can talk.
Am I audible?
Hello,
Yes.
I'm from Kenya and I had a question.
Yes.
do we have a way in which this organization having this workshop to train the youth and the global population about climate change to help us reach maybe platforms like United Nations and related other bodies in which you see where I come from, most youth try to come up with groups in which they try to do things like cleaning in the streets and such like activities so that we can get funding to do awareness and do more about climate change.
Yes, in this environmental key will take measures to actually already under this course, environmental key has asked to give the projects proposals. Some of them may be funded by UN. They may be selected and funded by UN through the environment key. I think organizers will inform you better about that. So in future, yes, we can do that. As you told, making awareness and street cleaning like that, contributions. More contributions. We encourage tree planting and greening the places that more encourage, and cleaning also, of course, anyone should do that one, but those who are willing to better the earth, we need to grow trees, plants and all. So it is possible that in future there will be some grants to conduct by you in as small grants from this link. And also this will continue what I understand from your responses, that you need to know climate change, how it affects on agriculture, how it affects on human health, how it affects on various sectors of life, and many other things you have expected to know from this course. Of course, we have limitations, so we can start advanced courses on that, how climate change affects on health. Likewise, maybe joining together agriculture and health. Likewise, we can introduce this kind of such courses for the participants. I think I have answered the question. Any other?
I have a question.
Forestry
Am I
sector.
audible?
Hello. Forestry sector, job opportunities. We are talking about the global situation. Climate change, forestry. I think not only forestry. It is major. Maybe your first profession, forestry. Maybe other. Any profession, climate change will be an added advantage for any job, will be added advantage for any job. In the forestry, forest departments, they start growing forest and lot. And also forest department can write proposal to get fund from the Green Climate Fund and growing trees. So that is of the government. Forest department should do that. Writing proposals, get money and planting trees. In that there may be some job opportunities. Um, how about organizers? Are we going to... Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, any questions? So then let us wind up.
I hope the lecturer has not left anyone out. Anyone else with a question? We're about to
Yes.
finish the
Yeah, I
lecture.
am here. You can ask questions. Yes.
Anyone else with a question before we finish?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah.
You can't hear. Lost the sound. You can chat. Raise hand. Three say raise hands. Those who have raised hand, anything else you have to tell? Anyone?
It seems we don't have questions.
Yeah.
Um,
Eh, there's noise in my area here, so I send it invoice. Inbox.
Inbox. Anyone? So could you, Sandun, look at the inbox and tell me what is the question? I can't access the form. Question. Any questions in the inbox? Could you please out? We are talking about the climate change. It is causes carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. And weather patterns changes. It is not our subject. It is meteorology department. And short period they, for weather forecasting is done for shorter periods. Of course, climate theory can be used for that one. Say, for example, when the ITC is at passing Sri Lanka, so or any other country, then there will be rainfall. So this kind of things can be used to predict weather forecasting. But weather forecasting is a total different subject, and it is done using the instruments, more and more instruments. But about the climate change, we take the data that collected by meteorology department and other people, and we analyze with the theories. So therefore it is. And also in the future climate, projections are based on our behavior. If we emit more carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide, in future there will be very hot, and we reduce these things, we have a better climate. If I understood correctly, that is the thing. And there was another question related to plants. A very interesting question I see at what to sit regarding the planting. What to plant? Please, someone should tell me that the question. The question.
the question is
Yes.
asking. The question is asking: do we
Mhm.
have to plant all kind of trees or specific species that can bring a positive impact on climate?
Yes, positive impact to climate brings those plants absorb more carbon dioxide. Absorb more carbon dioxide. That means the tree cover, higher the tree cover, more carbon dioxide. There are some nuances about some trees. Some tree species have better strength of absorbing carbon dioxide. Very specific ones. Yeah. Yes, it is a difficult question for me to in the world. What are the trees more carbon dioxide? However, this what kind of trees that are encouraged to plant to help control the effects of climate change? Yes, trees, larger trees. Uh, there is a very good scientist from whom you get this information about what are the trees to be planted. That, as I have already told, that the trees to be planted uh, integrate both mitigation and adaptation. Mitigation and adaptation. We have to integrate both mitigation and adaptation for one principle, right? So it is one principle. Another thing that I am telling about, there is another scientist. You have to ask him or her. It is better to her. What is the better plant to grow? What are the better types of trees to be planted? Who is that scientist? And what is the plant? Of course, it is the mother nature will tell what is the plant to be grown. For example, if you take your country, look at around you, look at around you, there are trees grown naturally in this area, naturally green, naturally grown in your area. These are the types of to be planted. In many countries, especially in developing countries, including Sri Lanka, forest department grow trees. Those who are not natural to in this area, alien trees are planted. They are not so good for anyway. We don't think about only the climate change. We need to think about the ecosystems. We need to think about the biodiversity. So therefore, we have to think about the ecosystems, and we need to grow plants. Those are naturally grown in this area. So the best scientists from you, from whom you can get the information about the trees to be planted, is the Mother Nature. She will tell you what to grow. So anywhere, in any country, any region, the best way to grow trees or plants naturally grown in this area. We have learned lot of lessons from out of this. In many trees grown, they are alien, they are not natural, and they are invasive, and they do lot of bad things. Say, for example, acacia. There was, I don't think it's a scientific cause of that. Some kind of acacia, their their flower attract bee, kill them. It is not native where bees are having. So this kind of things happens. If you grow trees, those are naturally grown in your area, nothing happen. So the thing that we need to know is how to get planting materials, how to get seeds and planting materials. Yeah, it is not also a big problem. It is not a big issue. It is very natural way. We have proved one of the very valuable tree wood is ebony tree. That is black one, ebony tree. Ebony. Maybe people thought that ebony is very difficult to grow. No, it is very simple. It's plant. You need to get the seeds and germinate in a pot, and you can grow it. So therefore, growing is not a problem, and selecting plants be done. Ask your nature, Mother Nature, whom to what to plant. Okay.
I see all our questions have been answered.
Okay.
Yes, I hope we have all signed the attendance list to the chat box. If you haven't, please do so. Dr. JMSB Jayasundara, thank you so much for the lecture. I would like to take this chance to ask we'll call them students, yeah? One of your students to give you a special vote of thanks. This is from Francis Odipo. This is your chance to thank our lecturer.
Thank you so much, Mary, for the chance to, in a special way, thank our lecturer, Dr. JMSB Jayasundara, for such an amazing training. You've really illustrated to us how our climate affects us, and also what we can do, and what constrains us, and what enables us to do the collective action. So I would really love to applaud you for that, and thank you for taking much of the time to ensure that we have this very crucial knowledge. So I would also like to thank everyone for attending. and for staying up to the end. That takes a lot of patience and control. So I would love to thank you all. I would also love to thank Nalanda Academy in partnership with UNED for making this course exclusively free. Otherwise, I would love to wish you all good night, good morning, wherever you are, or if it's good afternoon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Francis. Let us drop our favorite emojis for our lecturer and for Francis. And we're all free to leave. Don't forget to sign the attendance list. Good night, good morning. Have a nice time, and we meet in the next lecture. Thank you. Bye.